next time.
Yeah, next time.
Okay guys, welcome back to Norman's Garage and welcome to the first episode of my 25.5 chassis build series. So, why am I even taking on this project, right? My car hasn't even been below an 850 yet, right? You know, my chassis is started to 850. What am I doing? Well, technically the requirement is 850 or 175 miles per hour, but also I just want to be ready because I think the car is going to go much faster than 850, and I really just want to be safe. A lot of people wreck now, and a lot of people get pretty bruised up when they're wrecked. So the main goal here is to make the car safer and also make it work better. And there's a lot of things, just like on every single build you do, that you learn that you wanted to do better. So that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to make this car better and what it deserves because I knew I was capable much more, because every single time you build something you learn so much, and you look back at that build and you're like, man, I could have done this completely different. So up front I was just going to add a couple bars, this and that, and then I decided, hey, I want to go ahead and do this right. And then what really pushed it over the edge was, you know, with COVID-19 coming, I knew there was almost no point in putting my car together this year because back in the March time frame, everything was getting shut down. You know, we really didn't have any races for a couple months. So I was like, hey, what better than the perfect time to go ahead and take this on, right? So that's when I went ahead and tried to figure out what I wanted to do and started to go forward there. So first thing I needed to do was figure out what chassis am I even building, right? And what spec am I going to? So you always hear everybody say 25.5 this, 25.5 that, but what does that really mean? So I needed to do some research, and so pulled up the SFI website. Okay, went to specs. We have drag racing chassis here, and went down to see what met my stuff. Dragsters, no. Funny cars, no. Full body cars. We're not a tube chassis, nothing like that, but there we go. We are a 25.5D, full body car stock or modified OEM floor pan and firewall, right? That fits us. 750 to 849, 3,600 pound maximum. That fits us. So went ahead, called the number, and ordered a book. After that, I got the book on my hands. So I didn't want to order a bunch of tubing willy-nilly, so what I actually did was I went ahead and took a bunch of basic measurements of my car. So I had the basic 10 point in there, and I knew I was going to have to cut some bars out, but some bars I could retain, like the main hoop, the door bars, and the front down bars and the halo, right? So then I had to figure out everything I wanted to add on. So I went through and actually measured out and made a material list, because, you know, you go off here, you reference what bar number, it tells you what it has to be, if it's going to be chromoly or what, based on the bar number. So I planned out everything because I didn't want to just buy a bunch of tubing, because that tubing isn't cheap. So after that, I went ahead and made up a material list. I ended up finding a company where you can buy everything by the foot or down to the inch. And the way I did all this was I actually took measurements of my existing chassis and then went from there and added a couple inches on each bar. So say you need two 6-foot bars, you're not going to be able to get it out of two 8-foot pieces, right? So realistically, you're going to be wasting that much material and paying for that much material. So I went ahead, figured all that out, figured out the most cost-effective way, and stocked up on some of my TIG supplies as well. And I ordered from a company called Stock Car Steel in Carolina, and it was here within 2 days. So to prep the chassis was actually a lot of work, and I did all this actually before I ordered all the material. So up front, you know, I had a full race car. I'd already pulled the engine out for the freshen up for the winter, but other than that, it was a full race car. So pulled all the dash out, wiring harness, since I have a new wiring harness coming, all sorts of stuff like that. Removed all the sound deadening that was remaining using dry ice, cut all sorts of little brackets, everything else off the car. Got somebody to actually come and remove all the windows from the car, and I will be going back with Lexan all the way around the rest of the way. Then me and my friend Cub actually removed the roof. That was quite a pain. I never want to do one of those again. The amount of glue on a Civic roof is ridiculous. Um, After that, went ahead and cut the floors out. So she used a Sawzall and marked it out and cut all the floors out. Then I really wanted to get the box, basically, of your 1 5/8 and 1.5 tube that your chassis book calls out for your floor bars. So got all that done. So at this time I was just tacking everything up and just fitting bars. You know, it had been a while since I'd done any roll cage tubing, so I messed up a couple bars in the process, then got better. So did all those floor bars, everything else. Had to make quite a bit of notches in the tunnel, which made it pretty flimsy. Ended up gusseting that a little bit here and there. And then went into tying in the suspension point. My friend Jason came over one day. We cut through the main part of the windshield support and the firewall support there and made some access holes for the bars there to actually go to the strut tower. So I made up some plates to go to the shock mount and also made up some more plates to go down on the frame rail better so that we actually tied it into multiple locations. I used 1.25" tubing for all that. So that's pretty much where we got to. All the floor bars done and the front portion of the bars done, but pretty much everything was only tacked up. Nothing was finished welded. So now you guys are all caught up on my lack of filming. Let's get to work. Today, what I'm going to be doing is in the back here. So I'm going to make plates to plate here where my bars are going to tie in back here. So that's also I'm going to tie bars between these strut towers and then come back up to your main hoop. One more bar I'm going to make is here to this suspension point here, and that's just more of another down bar. And then we got to make the parachute mount. I will say it looks like a huge project taking the roof and floors out and everything else, which it has been. However, it's made it easier, even though I still have like a million years worth of finish welding to do. The first thing I need to do is to make these plates. So I've got some I've got a little bit of templates made here. So I'm going to draw that on my plates, and I also have a template for this piece right here that's going to wrap it, because you do have to have 6 inches worth of plate when you tie in. So that's nowhere near 6 inches, so we got to come and have 6 inches worth of area there. So I'm going to draw these out on my plates, and then we'll get to cut. I've got my rough pattern all drawn out on my plates. I'm actually going to end up doing the holes for the shock tower like actually on place, so make sure that those are correct. I'll actually mark it from the bottom side, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this hole set out first. I had the rotary file out there and then cut out this template, and then this is my piece that wraps around, and I'm gonna cut all that out, and that one should be a little bit easier. We're gonna have to heat up these corners and beat them around once they're already tacked on to make them fit. Get these put up in the vise. I'm gonna mark center on that, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so we got our hole all cut. It always sucks doing a hole saw through that 1/8 inch, but alright, now we just got to basically follow our line with a rotary file and sander and everything else, and we'll get it worked out there and then cut our outside. Alright, so you see we got this all cut out now. Just got to shape it up to back where our template was, and we should be pretty good to go to drill our shock tower holes and fit it up. Alright, so got it all made up. It looks like the fit is real good, and I'm going to put some bolts through the holes just to make sure we stay lined up. I'm going to go ahead and tack this. I've got 2 holes for rosette weld on the corner just to make it a little bit stronger, and I'll get set up and we'll tack it, and I'm going to weld this all the way around before I get the other plate going for it. We'll go on and get set up weld in here. It's basically using a red 3/32 tungsten ground to a point. I've got a number 17 GLS Fab cup, I believe it is, and it's just a regular flex head torch from HTP Weld. They make really nice stuff that even adapt to my my cheap old Eastwood. It works really well, and yeah, that's what we're gonna do, and use some 3/32 E70S2 filler. I'm gonna go ahead and get this tacked with the through the rosette welds. I got my foot pedaling on here because I don't like a scratch start, and we'll go from there. Let me get my jig lead here comfortable, not pulling on me. We should be good to go. Alright. Alright, so got that all welded up, and now I've got the other piece cut. And the way that we're going to use to fit this is to heat it and beat it. We're going to tack it. I got the initial piece cut here. It looks like it fits pretty well. I got to clean it up, but then one thing, you guys see all this dark color stuff? That metal really doesn't look like that. That's the mill scale that's put on there to prevent the rust, and just always take that off, or else you're going to end up not having a weld looking as good as you want it to. Let me get that cleaned all up. Alright, go on and get this thing tacked up. And then it'll do it. Got a MAP gas bottle here, and I'm going to get a big hammer. I'm going to heat these up and see what they'll do. So, got this thing fitted, and some of this metal down here is really thin. Okay everyone, so somehow I had duplicate files between two different GoPros, and some stuff got overwrote here. However, I hope you guys like this little bit of intro to the series here. Stay tuned for next time, where I actually go through, do a lot of finish welding, and then actually mount up some of the crossbars and start the funny car hoop. So stay tuned for that next Wednesday. Thank you guys. Please subscribe and then comment and tell me if I've got too many speed ups, if if you guys want to see more detail or less detail. Let me know, please, because I'm new to this and I'm trying to figure things out. I do need to stop losing footage, but hopefully this little bit of a montage here shows you guys how much time and effort just goes into one little piece of this build, and you can get a whole new respect for fabrication work. So thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.